evening, everybody. Welcome to What's Up Downtown. I am Sarah McGibney. I'm the Executive Director of Alton Main Street. We are the organization that is basically here to keep downtown Alton on the map. In case you're not familiar, Main Street is a nationwide program that teaches you how to engage your community in the restoration and revitalization of your historic downtown district. Alton is one of 30 some odd Main Street communities in Illinois. And yeah, we get all sorts of great training on best practices from the state of Illinois and bring those home to try to keep our downtown thriving, try to help our small businesses compete in this marketplace. And we do things such as plan events to bring people downtown, all sort of aesthetic improvements such as public art and taking care of all of the gardening and picking up litter and things like that. And we also do all sorts of economic development work. So we help small businesses spread the word about what they have going on, and definitely are big proponents of the Shop Small movement, think local first. So obviously holiday shopping is big for that, so we encourage you to please think about your small locally owned retailers and restaurants when you're thinking about your holiday gift list this year. We are kind of winding down our big events. Usually I spend all kinds of time telling you about what's coming up in the Main Street world, but we're kind of sliding into our dormant season over the winter. We do still have one big event coming up. That is this Friday, is the last in our series of our First Fridays art and shopping experiences. We have 21 shops that are going to be staying open late until 9 p.m. We will have a free shuttle bus that runs a continuous loop throughout all of those different locations. And if you get your passport stamped at 10 locations, you get a $10 gift certificate complimentary to any of the participants. So we encourage you to come out and check a lot of people off your holiday gift list this Friday, the 2nd, in downtown Alton. You can start right here at Jacoby to pick up your passport and park right here in the big parking lot, and then you can jump the shuttle and only have to park once, and then just get a ride around for the rest of the evening. It's a really fun time. We do this event called What's Up Downtown quarterly, and we invite people that have all kinds of exciting news to share to come up and spread the word about what they have going on. We identify a handful of people that we call our featured speakers, and we know they're going to be here, and they come up and share about their big happenings. But then we also take our wireless mic and we pass it through the stands, and it never fails that we always have additional exciting things. People just stand up at their seat and share what they have going on and their organization or their business. So after our featured speakers, if you're just here to listen and you don't have anything to share, feel free to pass the mic on down. But if you have something to share, feel free to stand up and address the crowd. First things first, I would like to introduce Andy Yancey. She's the new Deputy Director of Planning and Development for the City of Alton, and she's going to share some updates regarding the implementation of the Great Streets Plan, Reconnecting Communities Grant, and some developments including the Wedge Innovation Center and a cannabis dispensary that's on the way.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks so much for having us and allowing us to address the crowd tonight. Again, my name's Andy Yancey. I'm a new employee for the City of Alton. And tonight we're just going to briefly discuss the city's Great Streets Plan. I think there were probably several of you in this room that were probably in on some of those design workshops and that sort of thing. So we're going to give an update on the plan, and I'm going to let the folks behind me introduce themselves.
I'm Kiko Obata. I'm part of the Alton Works team, and we'll give you a couple of updates on what we've been doing.
I'm Dennis Highland, an architect with Kiko Obata and Company. Been working with Alton Works over the last 4 years.
And I'm Jennifer Duty. I'm with Alton Forward, which is a nonprofit associated with Alton Works, and here to also present on some of the items tonight and support Andy.
Okay, so just briefly, the Great Streets Initiative is designed to change the way communities think about their streets, from auto-centric, moving vehicles from point A to point B, to placemaking and destination-oriented places where folks want to be and spend time. So Alton adopted their Great Streets Plan in 2020. It actually won an award this year for strategic plans through the Illinois chapter of the American Planning Association, so we were really excited about that. But again, it's really designed to elevate downtowns and to create a sense of place and destination where folks want to be and explore. So our community objectives in Alton's Great Streets Plan include improving connectivity and mobility for all modes of transportation. So again, not centering vehicles, rebalancing the right-of-way, increasing the size of sidewalks, and just really focusing on pedestrian scale design and development. Resiliency through environmental best practices and stormwater planning, safety through traffic calming, and again, focused on slowing vehicles down, making these places just more appealing to pedestrians and bicyclists, wheeled transportation, etc. Creating a brand and identity, so that goes back to kind of that placemaking and wayfinding, to where as you move through downtown Alton, you really have a sense of where you are and what you're supposed to be doing there. So the plan outlines an entertainment district, an arts district, and a makers district. And as you move through these places, again, you should really have a sense of where you're at and what those places are designed for. And then economic development. So investing in the public realm, making this a space where folks feel safe investing their money, and really, really emphasizing that economic development aspect and making it somewhere where folks want to live, work, and play. So tonight, we're gonna really talk about plan implementation and what the city is working on as far as making some of the stuff, some of the really awesome stuff in our plan a reality for the residents and business owners here downtown. So one thing that has recently happened is through Senator Duckworth's office, they actually earmarked in the congressional budget $500,000 for engineering, part of the study, so for the engineering and design. So we were really excited about that, and in addition to that, the city, in partnership with Alton Works, has applied for a Reconnecting Communities grant. So our grant is called Bridges to Prosperity. I'm gonna go ahead and advance. So it really focuses on reconnecting the east and west part of downtown across Piasa, as well as reconnecting downtown to the riverfront and to the city's assets on the riverfront. So as you can see, we've got, here is where we've got, sure, that can you hear me? No. Is that?
There it goes.
Okay. Okay, so here is where that engineer study is going to be, where that $500,000 is going to be invested. Again, strengthening these connections to the riverfront from downtown. So we're proposing a couple bridges, and then also a bridge across Piasa to connect Market Street to the 3rd Street Entertainment District. Dennis, did you want to speak to this slide?
Sure, I'll add a little bit to that. So that, for those of you who don't know, the extent of the scope of the Great Streets design was from Monument all the way down to State Street along Broadway. And as Andy pointed out, that's really a program that promotes a beautification project for the street, right? It's giving the road a little bit of a diet and allowing other modes of transportation to share that road. And while you do that, you expand the sidewalks and invite restaurants to spill out into the sidewalk. It makes for a much more humane and inviting environment for the community and for business owners. So that's this green line that you see here. And then the Reconnecting Communities grant would do these 3 things. One, it would expand and extend this existing pedestrian bridge across Landmarks Boulevard and the railroad tracks to the riverfront, create a new bridge across the riverfront here, and as Annie pointed out, create a crossing, elevated crossing across Piasaw at, is this 4th Street, connecting to West Alton. So you want to go to the next slide. This diagram is something that we included in the grant to really just illustrate graphically how Landmarks Boulevard and the railroad tracks have really cut off downtown from the riverfront and from West Alton. It makes it completely the opposite of inviting for pedestrians to move back and forth between those three major parts of downtown. So go on to the next. So, and as you can see, this is several lanes wide with parking on both sides, Broadway, and we all know what Landmarks looks like and how fast people travel on that road and how uninviting it is for pedestrians to cross. Go to the next. So what does that look like when it's implemented? You all know that Alton Works has been acquiring properties and is investing a lot into those properties and is positioned to renovate those properties, so making a significant investment in the private sector. But this will improve the public realm as well while those projects come online. So this illustrates what this landscaped sort of streetscape of Broadway would look like with, as I said, trees, landscaping, wider sidewalks, signage and wayfinding, branding and identity. Shared bike lanes. And then green roofs on the projects that we're planning. And then it shows these connections across to the riverfront and then across Piasaw to West Alton. So these just zoom in on those three elements. So this, number 3, is this connection on 4th Street over to West Alton. And these two bridges, the one existing on the left that we would propose to expand and extend into the riverfront, and the one here. And so we envision those walkways, those bridges, to be mini sort of parks, similar to what you might have, if any of you have been to the High Line in New York City, similar to that. So inviting landscaping and other elements, sculpture, art, onto those to bring some of the riverfront up to downtown, so it's more inviting to pass from one to the other. Go ahead. This is just a diagram that shows you the improvement of the public realm from Ridge Street to Market Street. So then we'd like to give you an update on where Alton Works stands with projects that are on the boards right now. Go ahead. So what does that look like? What do we connect to from downtown Alton? What could that be? This is one of the fun parts of our job, Keegan and I, is envisioning what that could be and working with the community too, envisioning what that could be. So this is just an illustration that sort of says, what if? So you can see the bridges here, and we'll have the corner here, and the current bridge coming across the Landmarks, and some of the current infrastructure that's there, but envisioning also a boardwalk along the river, incorporating the marina, inviting to river cruises, place to dock, which you already have, and then making the parking more sustainable with permeable pavers. So there's lots of places to park for a market that might happen down there, of course happens now, and then maybe adding some pickleball courts and other attractions like climbing walls and things it's for outdoor recreation. Just an asset and a destination for the community that's centered around outdoor recreation, and a dedicated bike path that connects the levee trail all the way through the riverfront park to the River Road bike trail.
I think we see a possibility, and this is really just an idea that we're just presenting to get some feedback from the community. So we see this as a tremendous economic development opportunity. so that there would be restaurants, it would enhance tourism. This is Alton could really become a gateway to this 33-mile scenic byway that's already existing. There's a federal scenic byway that goes from Pere Marquette to Hartford.
Right.
And so, we think that there's an opportunity to really enhance all of this, the federal land all along there. And there's Great Rivers and Roads has been instrumental in some of those plans. So if the Alton Riverfront can become this sort of haven for outdoor recreation, and John Simmons has always had this dream that one day that there's a Great Rivers National Park here along, that faces the river, that's part of that scenic byway. So this is just an idea we wanted to put out to the public just to see what the response was, to really make this a place where people can bring families, they can come down and touch the river. They say when you can touch the river, that people care about and respect the river, and then you get a cleaner, better environment. So this is just out there for conversation with the community. And then we also want to announce that in December, starting next week maybe, we are going to renovate the Wedge Bank and the Elfkin building into the Wedge Innovation Center as an incubator, accelerator, and co-working space. And this will take about 18 months to build, but we really think it's a way for Alton to become part of the digital economy. We'll do workforce training here. We'll offer lots of classes. We hope to enter into a partnership with SIUE to be part of the programming and management of this. Dennis, you want to talk about the plan a bit?
Sure, you can go to the next slide. So the plan is to renovate both buildings, preserving the historic character of those buildings. And the first floor of the Wedge Bank building will be planned as a cafe. And then there will be other retail spaces facing Broadway in the Elfkin building. The main entrance to the facility, the incubator, will be through here. And the top floors of both buildings, while they're not connected now, they will be connected through renovation. So those floors will operate together as the Innovation Center. The level one, as I said, so what you see here in this, well, was green, now it's gray, I think, is retail and cafe space on the first floor, and then support spaces below, including showers and bike storage for people who commute in that way. On levels 2 and 3, the Wedge side of the building will be co-working space, so pretty wide open spaces that you will share with others who are entrepreneurs, and who knows what kind of cross-pollination and learning will happen between those folks who occupy that space. They'll build their business there, and once they grow a little bit, they can move over into the Elfkin building where we have small spaces for them to transition to. And then on the upper floor, there's a small sort of conference space, more office space, a catering kitchen for small events, and a rooftop terrace that has these killer views from the roof of the 3-story portion of the building right along Broadway of the river. So, do you have anything to add to that?
I want to thank the city, thank you, Mayor and Andy and Greg Caffey have been great to work with on these projects to really help move them along and really establish, a vision for this part of town. So we're excited about contributing that to Alton.
So just back to Great Streets for a minute, it is a strategic plan for us, and it has positioned us really well to be able to go after, apply for, and capture some of that federal money that has become available through some of the bills that have passed. So through the Infrastructure Act that passed last year. I feel like we're on the precipice of a lot of great things, having this plan in place, and again, just being really well positioned to articulate our vision and what we're trying to do, and again, be contenders for all of this money that's being offered through these bills. So again, my name is Andy. I'm in planning development with the city. If there's anything I can do to support any of the folks here with any of your endeavors, answer questions, that you may have for the city or permitting, anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And then as Sarah mentioned, I did want to mention that the city has licensed its first cannabis dispensary under the ordinance. There are 2 that will be licensed through the city, pending, market demand and whatnot. One of those licenses has been issued for 1400 East Broadway. So that will be forthcoming. Permitting and building permits and whatnot are being reviewed now. So I did want to put that out there, and if I can answer any questions folks might have, I'll be available for that and happy to take questions. Thank you again to Sarah and Alton Main Street for allowing us to share.
Awesome, exciting developments. Thanks so much, team. Next up, I would like to invite Stephen Peterbaugh to the stage. He is the owner of a retail shop called Base Camp. He has recently moved and expanded, so I wanted to introduce him to you all so he could tell you about everything that he carries and where he is now located.
Well, I don't have any Bridgets to offer, but we do have some shoes and stuff. So first and foremost, thank you for allowing me to be here and present my business. I didn't come very prepared. I heard it was a quick 5 minutes, so I'll keep it short and sweet for you guys. We have been in business for about a year. We were on Market Street. We do resell clothes and shoes, mostly shoes at this point, high-end Jordans, Louis Vuitton, anything, stuff that's hard to get, definitely stuff you can't find in this area. So yeah, we relocated to 215 Piasol Street, which is, obviously I'm hearing a lot of Piasol Street, so that sounds awesome. So yeah, we just, as far as the business, we carry shoes, vintage clothing, hats, you name it. We can sell AirPods, anything that we can make money on at the end of the day, we're gonna sell it. But obviously we're catered towards shoes and vintage clothing. So yeah, we relocated, and we started off in a 350 square foot little space. It was kind of like a storage unit. I had a lot of people come in and say, this reminds me of their closet. That wasn't very nice to me. I think they were trying to relate with me, but I was like, okay, I'm trying to be a professional business here. So anyway, long story short, we're now in a 900 square foot building, and we got it fully renovated. We've been open for about a month. So yeah, everything's going really well. We do rent from Alton Works, and they've been really helpful for us. No hassles ever. They always help us if there's anything that goes on. So yeah, just spread the word. We do have some great holiday things going on. We've been bringing in a lot of product, a lot of inventory. Like I said, we are catered towards sneakers, Jordans, Nikes, in particular Yeezys. But we do more like vintage and stuff. And we've honestly contemplated on opening a separate store, having a vintage store and a shoe store, because I think the coolest thing about Alton is we are kind of a melting pot here. We have so many different demographics, and that's what's awesome about it. So I think we could, reach out to more people. We've kind of become more of a selected market, you could say, a niche group that kind of people know what they're coming to get. But we want to, downtown Alton's always had that antique vibe, that never know what you might get thing. So we've always wanted to open up maybe a thrift store where there's bins of hats and clothes for $10, $20, and that's kind of something moving forward we want to do. The shoes have been great, but we don't think we can touch as big of a demographic as if we had another store. So maybe look out for that as well. We're working every day, and it's been wonderful. Alton has shown unbelievable support. Sarah's amazing. That's really all I really work with, but I know there's a lot of other things that go on behind the scenes and stuff. So thank you for everybody who shows support to Alton, and let's keep it going, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. Next up, I would like to invite Madeline Eads to the stage. She is the owner of Cocoa and Oak. She plans to open a retail store downtown soon for clothing and accessories, but in the meantime, she is planning a fashion show that will happen downtown next month, so I wanted to bring her up so she could tell you all about her plans.
Hi everybody, my name is Madeline Eads, as you heard. I own a store called Cocoa and Oak. We are currently an online store, as in me. I've been online for about 3 years now. I did start mid-pandemic in the dining room of my house. I took my funny money, which was a mere $1,000, and bought a rack of clothes just to see kind of where it would take me. I have a background in marketing and sales. I did work for Ashley Furniture for many years, and I do have a prior history in the entertainment industry in my youth. And some of you may recognize me and know that I am also the Alton Athletic Association president as well in my free time. I am a mom of 4. So really, clothing, I've always just really loved clothes since I was a little girl. I always thought maybe someday I would have a store, and I just thought, you know, in the pandemic, I'm sitting at home and I'm bored. What am I gonna do? Well, I guess I'm just gonna stick myself out there and I'm gonna start a business and see where it goes. So here I am 3 years later, and I am so grateful to Russ Smith of Bossa Nova, who's been a great friend to me over the years. And he is a true fighter for Cocoa and Oak, and he has done many things promoting me. But he knew I was looking for a space. You know, I had toyed around with it. My house is getting full of merchandise. My poor husband is so patient with my dining room situation right now because it literally is Cocoa and Oak. But Russ heard that I was looking for a store, and he reached out to me and said, you know, don't jump on anything yet. I know of a space coming open downtown. Which is where Three Charming Chicks is on William Street. They are moving next door to the gorgeous building they are rehabbing right now. And so the Gen X reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to come look at it? And I said, absolutely. I would die for a space downtown. I love downtown. I love the historical prospects of it. I just love it all. It has a great feel to it, and I love everything Alton. So I jumped at the chance. I said yes almost before I even saw the space. But going in there, it's been really great. The Three Charming Chicks have been absolutely charming to me. They baked me a loaf of cinnamon bread before I even showed up, before they even knew I was going to be their neighbor, in hopes that I would take over next door. I think it's going to be a great match for us with their vintage housewares and with my clothing. I think it's going to be a really good fit, and I'm super excited to bring a clothing store to downtown. I think that's something that's missing downtown, bringing some retail down there. You know, I look back at some of the historical photos shared on Facebook, and you see like the old days of people taking their kids down there and they're walking the streets and they're all together and they're all shopping and they're eating and having a great time, and I really want to bring that back to Alton. I think it's really important to me. I'm raising my kids in this community and I want to see it thrive, and I want to be a part of it. So with that being said, I won't be in my space until early spring, but in the meantime, I am hosting a fashion show to kind of show some of the things that I will be bringing downtown next week at the Lovejoy, next Wednesday, December 7th from 6 to 8. I will be hosting a fashion show and a shopping event, and I am actually using some of our Alton athletes as the models. So at some point I felt like the worlds will merge. So they will be walking in the show and showcasing some of the fashions, and we're just gonna have a good time, have some drinks, and I think Russ is gonna have the restaurant open to serve food, and we're gonna shop, and you guys can get to kind of see who I am if anyone's interested. I do have tickets. I am giving a portion of the proceeds to the local Crisis Food Center as well. 10% of the sales that night, as well as a portion of the tickets, will go directly to them. So I would love to see you all there if anyone would like to purchase tickets. I did put some flyers on the table over there telling you a little bit more about the event itself, and then you can go to my website to purchase tickets, and I hope to see some of you there. And you know, I really appreciate Sarah's great help to me and let me speak tonight, so thank you so much.
Super exciting. Thanks a lot, Madeline. Can't wait to see your space. Next up, I would like to invite John Muller to the stage. He represents the new owners of the RiverBender building at the corner of 3rd and Bell downtown. They've had a lot of recent renovations, and they have some space available for rent, so I wanted to bring him up so he can tell you all about how you can get an office at the RiverBender building.
Hey guys, good evening. My name is John Muller. Name of my company is Diversified Real Estate Group. It's a commercial real estate investment company. We're based out of St. Louis, so we're outsiders to Alton, but a year and a half ago we purchased the RiverBender building from John Hentrick, which many of you may know. And we're super pumped about it. We just completed the renovations, including a killer 7-story rooftop terrace. We just purchased all new furniture for it and renovated it. And we started leasing the new space about a year ago. We've steadily been climbing in terms of occupancy. We're now right at 85%. We have 12 office spaces left. We are gearing most of these spaces towards small businesses, which I think a lot of you are. So if you're looking for a cool, hip, small office space in downtown Alton, give us a call, and appreciate your time.
Thanks, John, for your investment in downtown Alton. We do appreciate it. Next up, I would like to bring Stephanie Tate up to the stage. She is going to tell you about all the recent happenings with the Great Rivers and Routes Tourism Bureau.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie Tate. I'm the Marketing Communications Director for Great Rivers and Routes Tourism Bureau. If you don't know who we are, we're a destination marketing organization that represents Madison, Jersey, Calhoun, Macoupin, Montgomery, and Greene counties. And that, of course, includes Alton, which is our home base. Our main purpose is to attract people to our region, drive them to your businesses, where hopefully they will spend lots of money and make us all really happy. So that's our job. But I'm here tonight to talk to you about the important things we're doing at the Tourism Bureau. And one of them is a new video series that we've created called Heartbeats. You know, there's a reason that we all call Alton home. It's a great place to live, it's a great place to work, and it's a great place to play. It has that sense of community that you can't find in a lot of places. It's that intangible thing that pulls people in. And that's what this video series is going to showcase. We call it Heartbeats for a reason, because the people are the heartbeat of our community. Everybody in here is the heartbeat. Every business that you create is a heartbeat for our community. And that's what we want to promote. We want to show people how wonderful Alton and actually our entire region is. And we're going to do that in a 9-part, it changes, but a 9-part documentary video series that's going to focus on that. We're going to have a special launch party for this, so stay tuned for this. January 5th, which is Thursday at Old Bakery Beer Company. I think it's at about 6 o'clock, but you'll see invitations. We'll put this out on social media. But this series is really going to touch everybody, and I think it's going to, you know, we call it a visual hug. It's going to give everyone a visual hug to show them how warm and welcoming our entire community is and how welcoming our entire region is. So stay tuned for Heartbeats. It's going to launch in January. We're going to put it out on social media, so watch our Facebook page. And also, please plan to attend the launch party at Old Bakery Beer on January 5th. So kind of switching gears a little bit, the Eagles are coming, believe it or not. Winter's here. You can feel it out there. Eagles are coming in January. We always hold our annual Eagle Fest. We're holding it this year, January 7th. Changing it up a bit, it's going to be at Flock Food Truck Park. It's not going to be at the Visitor Center. So at the Flock Food Truck Park, we're going to have our live eagle meet and greet. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have the live ice carvings, so you can come out and see some really cool ice carvings. We're going to have our signature Eagle beer available for sale from Old Bakery Beer. Live music, some s'more pits or fire pits, and you can roast s'mores. We're also doing this in conjunction with the Audubon Center at Riverlands and National Great Rivers Museum. So from 10 to 2 on January 7th, it's all about Alton, and it's all about the Eagles for the Alton Eagle Fest. And then finally, we do have an update. It kind of segues in with the Great Streets and the Alton Works projects. It's an update on our $10 million capital grant bill that we got in the spring that's really going to help develop the byway from Hartford to Alton. And right now, we have hired the engineering firm, the architect, and the landscape planner for the first phase of the project, which will include a new visitor center in Alton. We'll be presenting the first phase of the architectural renderings and designs by late February, and we should have cost estimates and designs available for public bids in the fall of 2023. And those are our big projects right now. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask, or you can talk to me after the meeting tonight. Thank you very much.
Awesome, great news all around. I did have a couple of people ask me to make announcements on their behalf because they were not able to make it this evening. As you might have heard online in the last couple of days, Luciana's Pastries here down the block is unfortunately having to close. But they did want to spread the word that they are now in the process of getting their business appraised because they are open to the idea of selling the business. So if you happen to know anyone who has always dreamed of owning a bakery, please do have them get in touch with me, and I will put them in touch with Alex and Lou from Luciana's. It's a huge loss for our community. They're a graduate of the Farmers and Artisans Market, started out there and eventually grew into brick and mortar, and hopefully this isn't the end of their story, but they do have to take a hiatus from the brick and mortar location right now. So let's try to rally as a community, and they built a business that is definitely worth something. So it would be wonderful for them to pass the torch on to a new owner instead of just shuttering for good. So if you have any leads on that, please do keep us posted, and we will try to connect the dots on that. Next up here at Jacoby, they wanted to announce a few upcoming events. This Saturday, they have 33 on the Needle that's going to be playing a concert. On Sunday, they're having a benefit for Ukraine that features a string quartet, so make sure to check that out. Next Friday night, they have a comedy show, and they invite you to visit their current exhibit that is up in the gallery right now, featuring the work of Rich Brooks. And they also have a wide variety of classes that you can sign up for that you can go to JacobyArtsCenter.org and get all of the details for that. So at this point, I will ask if anyone is brave and would like to actually take the stage and come up and address the crowd from here. You are more than welcome to. But if not, I will start the rounds for the wireless microphone to just come around, and you can stand up at your seat if that's a little less intimidating. Would anybody like to come up? Come on.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shonda Williamson, and I'm Olivia Saboff. We are here with Bring It Home Network. We are a new small business in Alton, and our goal here today is to just inform everyone that we are starting an investor networking course called Invested Interest, and that is for anyone who is a landlord, anyone in the real estate business in any way, contractors, painters. If they're part of a real estate transaction, we welcome them to join our courses because our overall goal is just to connect the people who are rehabilitating our beautiful town of Alton and to help them with doing it the right way, informing them of all of the steps necessary so that we can provide sustainable housing to our community and keep people wanting to be here. I have a background in real estate and education, and when you combine those two things, you end up with real estate courses. And Olivia?
Yes, I have a background in education and real estate as well.
So our goal is just to pretty much bring our investors to all of the information necessary so that they can have a great time rehabbing our area and bringing homes to the people who deserve them and just revitalizing the area. Our company's name is Bring It Home because I was brought home to Alton. I'm an Alton native, but I hadn't been here for a good majority of my life. I graduated from SIUE, and then even after that, I returned to Indiana. And then during the pandemic, which is when all great companies started, I decided to get into real estate because I had some pretty interesting transactions in real estate, and I'm like, ooh, I'm a pretty big question asker, and I still didn't have all the information that I needed. So if me, with all of my questions, still felt misguided, I felt like there needed to be someone willing to guide people. And after guiding buyers and renters, all of my investors are like, hey, where are the classes at for us? So we decided to start a brand new business for those guys, because there's so much more that goes into providing a home than what it does to actually take on a home. So if there's anyone out here who's part of the real estate community in any way, please reach out to us tonight. I've got a sign-up sheet that I'll put over there in the back. And all we're asking for is just your contact information so that our marketing manager can reach out to you and tell you what it would take to be able to be a part of what we're offering to our community. We'd love to work with all of you.
Just something to add is there are some big changes happening in Illinois for landlords coming up. So this would be a great time to learn about those before they actually are something that may come up. Instead of being a surprise, you'll know ahead of time.
Yeah, our first class will be January 19th at the WOW Event Center from 6 to 8. We look forward to seeing you all there. I'm sure you're going to see a lot more of us in the community, because our goal is to provide sustainable housing, and we know that in order to do that, we have to make sure our investors are prepared to offer that. Thank you guys for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Great, thank you all so much. Would anybody else like to address the crowd from the stage? Come right on up, sir.
Might as well let you see what I look like. My name is Louis Napoleon, and my wife Linda and I are new to the Alton community. We arrived here on July the 29th of this year. I was actually born here in Alton. I left in 1959, and I've been trying to get back here for a number of years, and I finally decided to make the transition. I was here visiting in 2019, and by the way, I'm familiar with this name, Sarah McGibney. I keep hearing that from other people I've been talking with. But I visited Alton in 2019 and was here 5 days. I visited with family members and a good personal friend of mine. And during the course of my visit here, I started to ask questions about what Alton and the state of Illinois was doing in the area of criminal justice. And I learned through phone calls and a number of conversations that there was not much being done. The resources that are needed for people who are making that transition are not available. So I decided, I got this in my mind, I said, why don't I come up with some ideas and see where they'll go. I left town, and when I got, well, by the way, we're from Texas. We just came in from Carrollton, Texas, which is 20 minutes north of Dallas. 7 million people, large community. So this is kind of new here. This kind of event where people come together at a moment's notice and can share their ideas. So when I got back to Texas, I decided that I would come up with some ideas. And at the time, I think your mayor's name was Bryant Walker. And I sat down, and over the course of a couple of months, I developed this proposal or feasibility study that I planned to introduce to the mayor. Well, the pandemic hit, and we were unable to travel. Things slowed down, and I'm finally making it back to Alton. And I still have this proposal. The only difference is the mayor has changed. So I'm hoping at some time in the not too distant future to get a meeting with the mayor so that I can discuss some ideas I have to facilitate that transition from prison to the community. And by the way, my wife and I have been working in the area of criminal justice for 20-odd years now. We've done workshops, work development workshops. We've done work for the Department of Veterans Affairs, workforce development, and a number of nonprofit organizations, training their clients to answer some very tough questions from employers. Why should I hire you? You're a burglar, you're a criminal, you're a drug dealer. Why should I hire you? Well, we've helped these offenders to come up with some responses that make sense. and that have turned out to be quite beneficial for them over the years. We've placed a number of people in jobs, and we like to do something here in Alton. I'm 74 years old. I left here when I was 11, and as I said, I've been trying to make my way back. So I want to fit in where I can, make a contribution where I can, and in addition to what I'm talking about here, my wife and I are doing some other things, but I won't go into that right now. That's another thing. That would take much more time than we have this evening. But if any of you guys have some connections at City Hall who might be able to facilitate a meeting for me, I appreciate it.
I think I can speak for all of us when I say welcome home.
And by the way, I'm old. These old ladies don't work the way they used to. So I stumble sometimes.
No, we thank you for sharing your announcement, and we look forward to having you back next quarter to hear about your other idea that you were talking about. Would anyone else like to come speak from the stage? Jared, come on up.
No, hopefully this still works.
I'm not sure. It might be unplugged, actually. Let me see.
Did you unplug it?
We might have to work on that.
All right, I'll try. I think this sounds like it's working. I'm just glad Mary Goins didn't come up here first, because otherwise that mic would have been up here and I would not have been able to reach that. So my name is Jared Brunels. I'm one of the owners of Germania Brew House, and I really just came out here to say thanks to everybody. I see a lot of apparel over there. I see apparel over here. I see coffee. I see a lot of that over here, so I wanted to say thanks. That's why I came up here. I did not have any intent. I talked to Sarah this morning. She's like, oh, this is going on tonight. I was like, oh, let me check it out because I want to know what's going on, especially with Alton Public Works and everything that's going on there. So one of the main reasons we originally invested in Germania a while back was we wanted to come back to Alton. The more we travel, the more we see the world. Like, the world's pretty sweet. There's a lot of cool stuff. But another reason I want to come up here is that Alton is unique. If you have not left this area, you will not appreciate this area. The fact that we have the biggest river, one of the biggest rivers in the entire world, in this hilltop community with some of the most beautiful architecture, and the people here that are willing to go out there and get after it and to try and terraform their community, that's what I really appreciate. So all the new business leaders that come up here and are trying to start new businesses, whatever you need from me, from the Yeezys to the new apparel to the people looking for jobs, please come find me. We'll make that work. We'll figure it out, because collaboration, I think, is one of the most important things for a community like this to succeed. And so thank you so much for what you guys are doing. I think the bridges is amazing, and I think that's absolutely right. To connect the two parts of this city, you really need that. But it's also kind of a metaphor. So I love that that's physically that you're doing that. We need to do that. And I'll get to the metaphor next, but one of the things I do ask is when you're planning, take into consideration the small businesses around you. When you said cafe and the wedge, everything else about the wedge excited me except for that cafe. I'm a little concerned about that for now. Eventually, competition is great. In the beginning, when we're still trying to draw people to the city, that scares me. But I really appreciate everything else you're doing. I think this is going to be absolutely fantastic. The other reason I came up here was to talk about the bridges metaphor I just mentioned. So we are starting this nonprofit called Mountains and Molehills. So what that is essentially is that we are trying to give back. It's originally really the reason we started Germania. And I speak fast, I'm a pilot. I think Mike Kelly, I saw him earlier, so maybe you're the only one that can understand me because I speak really fast, so I apologize. But the reason we started Germania was to give back to the community, to earn more money. So we were tithing, but instead we just put that into a business. And then we said, you know what, let's put that into business, we can make more money and then tie that back to the community. So Mountains and Molehills, essentially, where we go out there, it's a 501c3 community now, brand new, just got it approved. We've done 15 projects so far. And what we do is we go out there and repair roofs, we do HVAC units, whatever the community needs. And it's in the RiverBend area. So we go through RiverBend Family Ministries, which is the only, again, unique. There's a lot of unique stuff here you don't know until you leave. And RiverBend Family Ministries is based out of Wood River, but it serves all of Madison County. Intakes of behavioral health, there's all sorts of different things. Financial counseling, and they will divert whatever that person is to whatever need they need, whatever need they have to the nonprofit in this area that supports it. And there's a lot of great nonprofits here. So I wanted to introduce that, mountainsandmolehills.org, mountains, spelled like mountains, 2, T-O, molehills like you would think. And again, it's all about reducing those proverbial mountains to molehills so we can get people through those problems in their life and hopefully get after that. So I need to talk to a couple of people here. I think I heard that you're the nonprofit sector for Alton Works. I'd love to talk to you at some point in time. I actually have a meeting with the rest of the Mountains and Molehills team right after this. I'm about to bounce, but I really wanted to say thanks. This is fantastic. Another reason we invested was so that my wife and I can retire. She is from Troy. We did not meet each other until we were both in the military in Afghanistan. That's a whole different side story. We're both from the same area. We wanted to come back. We wanted to make sure it was a good community to come back to. When we left, it wasn't. It is becoming that community that we wanted it to be. I really love the vision because that vision is exactly what we see in some of those great cities. I'm currently in Tokyo, the biggest city in the world. 7 million is pretty big. Texas, I was in San Antonio before this, so I feel you. It is great to come back to a small community, but to potentially have those big city vibes and to connect it all together with the river trail all the way down to the businesses here, I think is fantastic. And whatever you guys need from us, but collaboration is what I ask for the most on the small business side, with the big money and the little money with the new businesses, whatever we need. But anyways, that's what I have. If you have any questions, I can take a couple questions. Otherwise, you probably don't. No, I got to get going. But again, thanks. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jared. Come on up.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Virginia Wolf-Biley with the Sierra Club in Alton. So I love all the talk about collaboration. And I see a lot of faces in this room that we've collaborated with through the Sierra Club. But I also am inspired by the conversation coming around to criminal justice, social justice, environmental justice. So, sir, I didn't catch your name, but we need to talk. I've got my card ready for you. We need to talk about the Safety Act in Illinois. We need to talk about the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. We're working with other groups. There's a lot of opportunity coming to the Alton area with some state and federal funding. And besides that, on a more hometown level, the Sierra Club is here, the Piasaw Palisades group, as a community resource. So should you have any questions about air and water quality, environmental justice, we are here to help you find answers to your questions or solutions to problems. So again, my name is Virginia Wolf-Biley. I'm on 112 Front Street, so in a historic building in downtown, and we're glad to be there. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be here all evening. And thanks, Sarah, for this opportunity.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to give an update. I know that the last time we were here, I believe we were down at the RiverBender building, but someone asked me about the RiverBender, not the RiverBender, but the Riverview project. And that project has commenced, and there has been a lot of work being done stabilizing the bluff. And so just wanted to give you an update on that as the GIS has come in, and I've been receiving pictures and updates from my public works director. I was looking for him because he said he was going to be here. He might have forgot, but that's going real well. And so just wanted to kind of give you an update on that, as well as the Holiday Inn construction is going on still on Home Ramps Parkway, and also wanted to give an update on the energy aggregation, and I think Andy's going to go ahead and give that update.
So I don't know if anyone has gotten their AMRIT notices basically stating that the contract with Homefield is expiring and advising folks to select an energy supplier. Unfortunately, that correspondence has created quite a bit of confusion for folks. Basically, you don't need to do anything. If you were with Homefield, our contract with Homefield did expire, or will expire tomorrow, effective December 1. But the city has contracted with Constellation New Energy. That contract will take effect on the first meter read in February. So there's going to be about 8 weeks where everybody who was part of Homefield will be put back onto the utility, which is Ameren, for about 8 weeks, and then automatically be brought back into the city's aggregation contract with Constellation New Energy. So again, you're going to get, I think, a total of 3 letters from various entities. One of those will be from Constellation, advising that the city is beginning a new contract, giving the start date, and also providing information if folks wish to opt out. Unless you opt out and take those steps, you'll automatically be brought into the city's new aggregation contract. So again, you're going to get some correspondence telling you to select a new supplier. You do not need to do that. The city, along with 28 peer communities, has negotiated a contract for electricity aggregation and supply. So if anyone has any additional questions or wants to get any additional details, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to chat.
Hello everyone, my name is Troy Green. I'm with Gumbo To Go. And we are pretty new to the community. We're first-time business owners, and we just want to say thank you to everyone who's been coming to support us. The response has been pretty incredible. We also have some food here for the evening. We have some red beans and rice and some seafood gumbo for y'all to try out. I don't know if we have enough, but we do our best. We also want to let you guys know that we have catering options coming for the holidays. If you are interested for holiday parties, things of that nature, just give us a call. And we also have our regular menu on our website, RiverBender.com. Just thank you very much for the response that you've given us. It's been really incredible. We just try to take it every day at a time, and it's been great. Thank you very much.
All right, well, in closing, I will just say, please make sure you subscribe to our monthly newsletter. You can sign up for that at downtownalton.com. There we have full shopping directories, dining directories, services, everything you heard tonight. You can find all these folks in one place. That's downtownalton.com. Please do, before you leave, feel free to grab something to eat. We've got pizzas from Bossa Nova, as well as the wonderful Cajun food from Gumbo To Go. They're in the bar. The bar is open. We've also got sweets from Luciana's, as well as Dolce Diana over there. So please pick up some info from the table, have a snack, network with other downtown enthusiasts, and we look to see you back in the spring for the next installment of What's Up Downtown. Thanks for coming.